Okay, so welcome to the Globex360 CopyTrade platform. Here is where we have our CopyTrade traders, strategy providers. So they are called strategy providers on the platform. And if you are going to be following them, you're going to be a strategy follower. So we have multiple tabs here. We have a top rank tab, we have a top growth tab. You can also have favorite traders that you want to look at, and then we have our traders. So our traders are traders that are specifically in the Globex 360 system, but then on the top growth tab and on the top rank tab, we have traders from all over the world. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of traders here to choose from, and they have various trading styles. So you can choose any of these guys. And the nice thing about this CopyTrade platform is that you can really customize it to get the sort of traders you want, right? First tab here, you can start by looking at the years. So you can click up here to look at the oldest account that has been managed, which is Happy Forex for 7 years. Or you can look at the youngest account, which will just come loading up, which is this guy with 2 months trading experience. All right. The second tab that we have here is the growth. So we can look at the highest growth of traders, or we can look for the lowest growth of traders. So obviously this is what you're gonna want to look for, is the highest growth of traders with the highest growth if you want to make money, right? So from there, another thing that you can do is look at average per month, because other people have higher percentages made, right? But then their average per month is low. For example, Eternity over here, he's had 1,000% growth, right? But he's only making 3.9% per month, more than Star Strategy over here, who's making 5% a month, but then has less overall growth on the account, right? And then we can look at the total pips. So the total pips is really not important, because somebody with less pips can make more money or lose more money. For example, as you can see over here, this person has 4,500 total pips, but he has far more growth than over here at Eternity, who has 13,000. And then you can look at the maximum drawdown. So personally, when I look at traders, I look at the maximum drawdown, because now that lets me know how much of my account that this particular trader will look at, will do the risk. And then there's drawdown recovery period. So how long they take to come back from a loss, that's the drawdown recovery period, right? And the minimum recommended. So for example, the minimum recommended for this guy is $2,000, 791, right? Or you find somebody else like Metal, who then has a lower minimum of $244, but that is not entirely important, because you will see when allocating how you can go around it. And then the profitability is how many of their trades do they win. So currently Kenzo VIP wins 93% of his trades, while somebody else can win 62% of their trades. So again, the profitability doesn't necessarily mean that the person's going to make more growth, because, for example, you find Kenzo on his second account here has a far higher, well, not far higher, but he has a higher profitability rate, right, than Metal, but Metal has more growth. Another example of this is Eternity. He has a 68% profitability rate, but he's got more growth than this guy, Star Strategy, who has 84% growth. Right. So one of the things what I recommend, and this goes the same for the top growth. You can see the same things across the top growth guys. So I'll get into how to picking top growth or top rank. And remember that this is my personal recommendation, and you can always customize it to your needs. So what I would do first, right, is come and look at the maximum drawdown. So I recommend not going with somebody who's going to make you more than a 30% drawdown, because you don't want 30% of your funds or even larger than that gone. So you can do a 10%, 15%, 20, but 30% is a roundabout safe place to do it, or even 25%. But for the purposes of this video, I'll just use 30% and click enter. So what it will do, it will show you traders that have never lost, and on equity, not just on balance, but have never lost more than 30% of the trading account, right? So that's the first thing I do. I look at the maximum drawdown, and I don't look for somebody that's over 30%. Next that I'd like to look at is the average growth per month, right? I will want to look at somebody who has a higher average growth per month, which anything more than 5% is good enough. But these guys can surprise you, because as again, it is an average. It's not set in stone that this person is going to make a 4.19% growth. He can make 10% in this month, or he can lose like 5%. But obviously, the loss factor of how much they will lose, then we control with the maximum drawdown that a trader would have. So let's take, for example, over here, somebody that has been going on for quite long. So bull versus bear, for example. So we can click on the bull versus bear profile, and we can see how his trading has been going. So they give you a little profile there of how actually the strategies or how they operate. Not everyone does this, but generally they'll just give you a brief explanation of how they operate. So we can see here that bull versus bear is making around, or has made around, ever since he started trading this account in 2017, May 2017, he has made 731% growth. Right? So meaning that if you had invested $1,000, or let's just use rands for example, if you had deposited 10,000 rands into your account and followed this guy, in 3 years' time you would have had 70,000 rands. Another thing to look at is this guy, and this is profit, 70,000 rands profit. So your total equity would be at 80, your total balance would be at 80,000, 83,000. And then for the rest of the year, or for the year, he should make around 83% growth. So you can imagine if you put away 10,000 rands, you can look at this guy making, well, that is a forecast, making 8,300 for you. And then it just gives you a bit more information as how many trades they've done. So this guy over here, bull versus bear, he has made 2,400, so nearly 2,500 trades. His profitability rate, average trades daily, so he makes about 2 trades a day. His best winning trade has made 4.97% growth, so that's on a single trade, right? And his worst trade has won 4.09%. So we can already see that he has a better risk to reward ratio, and because of that, he is one person that we can follow. The largest or the longest drawdown recovery period has been 4 weeks, right? And the maximum open trades that he has is 5 trades, which was on the 26th of December 2019. And then max duration for a trade, so how long he's held his longest trade, and that's 3 days and 22 minutes. So the profile, the back end really gives you a lot of information as to how a trader is performing. You can even look at so you can just switch leverage off. Leverage isn't too important to look at, you can switch it off, but you can see how the client's balance or the strategy provider's balance has been growing, right? So here's a line graph to show you how he's been growing. Or you can look at the equity. So you can look at the balance or the equity. Remember that your equity is your floating balance, and those right here for this particular trader look alike, right? And we can see also his trading history, how it's been going. His largest losing month, he has lost 8%, and we can also look at the current month, how he's going. So currently he's not doing too good, but then it's only the 4th of the month, so we're not gonna he can still come back. So it's the 4th, so he can still make more money here. So that's something that you can look at. But overall, looking at his profile, you see that he's doing quite great a month with an average of 5% a month. So you know that this is someone that you can go copy and follow because they don't risk too much, right? So that's generally what happens with all the traders. Let's just look at another trader that we can just look at there. Maximum 30% drawdown, right? And for example, let's look at Gold Trader as well. So Gold Trader, ever since he's been, so here again, there's a brief description on what the robot does. And here it has made 186% growth, right? And he's averaging around 10% a month. So yet again, he's got quite a good average, higher than the previous guy, and maximum drawdown. So he's never had a drawdown of more than 16% on this account. His recovery period has taken 3 days. His longest trade has lost 13 hours. Most trades that he's opened, so he's opened 7 trades at a go, and his highest winning trade has made 3.82% growth, right? So yet again, with the balance and the equity, you can look at how their balance has been growing, and you can also look at how their equity goes. So these dips here will show you that the equity did go down, but then after that it was recovered. So that's how to look at it, and you can obviously see the trading history. So far, Gold Trader has not had a losing month. So every single month he's closing out in a positive, and as you can see, he's looking at making around 10% per month. So now when you get there, you can start choosing the traders you want, right? You can choose as many traders you want, because I'll show you what happens next with the allocations. So those are the top rank guys, which I would primarily focus on in setting up accounts, right? Or I would give most of my funds to. So for example, if I have 10,000 rands, I'd give these traders the bulk of the money. And then for top growth, the top growth guys really do make a lot of money in a month. But one of the things that I don't like is that they have high drawdowns. So for example, he is making around 140% a month. So that's where you're gonna average for this guy, and I can't pronounce his name, right? That's what you're gonna average a month when following this trader over here. So you see in May and June, he made a lot of returns, about 400%, so 800%. And he's having an annual forecast of over 1,000. But look at his drawdown, 92%. So this is a guy that you can go and follow, but instead of putting 100% of your funds on him, so if you have 10,000 rand, you can rather allocate something like 15 or 20% of your funds here. So anything between 1,500 and 2,000 rands on this particular trader, knowing that if he doesn't perform, that it's not going to be too big of a problem. And then we also see the same information here for the equity, and we can see that he's been growing the equity, but sometimes he does have big drawdowns. His biggest winning trade has been 31%, right? A single trade, and his biggest losing trade has lost 21%. So you can really look at the guys, and like I say, we have 2 tabs here. We have the top rank tab and the top growth tab, with the top growth traders being a little bit more aggressive. Yes, they've made a lot of money, but they generally a little bit more aggressive. And again, you can start sorting it in this way in terms of seeing what the average they're gonna make a month. So I first look at the drawdown, and then I look at the average that the client is gonna be making me per month. So for example, we can look at this Experts India, right? He's been running, so not too old, but you can see that he's making around 200% a month growth, right? And June he made 100, July he made 600, and so far he's on 37%. His largest winning trade is 74%, whilst his largest losing trade lost 33%. But again, here the equity is quite high. But if you had invested $1,000 with this guy, you'd be $15,000 up. So in rands, if you had invested 10,000 rands with this guy when he started the account, then you would have 150,000 rands. But the reason why I wouldn't allocate 100% of the funds is he's had a maximum equity drawdown of 73%. So even though he hasn't lost in a single month, but his drawdown has been here. So now let's just say you go ahead and you arrange the traders that you want. So for example, let's say we want one safe king. I know I haven't set the drawdown to 30%, but let's say you want one safe king. Okay, you see one safe king, you look at his profile, you're happy with his numbers, you're saying, okay, he performs quite well, he's making like 10% a month, and he doesn't have higher than an 11% drawdown. Then you can choose from there. So this guy has an annual forecast of 230%, right? So you're happy, you think in your head, if you put away 10,000 rands, this guy is going to make an extra 23,000 rands for me. Right, because that is what we're looking at annually. And then you saying, so I'd like to follow this guy because once he's done here, you'll have about if he reaches his annual forecast, then if you put 100% of your funds on him, then you can look at having a total balance from 10,000 to 33,000 on the account. So you can go, and like I said, that the nice thing is that you can have flexibility in how much you give the clients or how much you give the strategy provider from your portfolio. So you just come up here, click add to portfolio, right? Choose the account you have. So mine will be a little bit different because I handle it differently, but you'll just see your one account, right? So choose the account that you'd like to copy to. So like I said, that you'll see one, and then what I'd normally do, right, is take the percentage of the total balance. So let's say we're happy with this guy, but we do not want to give him 100% of our funds. We only want to give him maybe 30% of our funds or 40% of our funds. So what you can do, you can give him 40% of the funds, scroll down and click save. So I'm not going to click save right now because this is an actual account, but 40% and click save, right? And then once you've clicked save, you have allocated 40% of your portfolio to King 1 Safe. So that's what you can do. So you can maybe even find 3 traders that you'll be comfortable with copying, give one of them. So what you can do, you can find 2 guys on the top growth, right, that you're happy with, that you know that they don't make a lot of drawdown, but they also make good returns monthly. Allocate 40% to one, 40% to another, and then come to the top growth tab. Look for a guy that you'd be happy in the top growth tab. So you can look at probably somebody that makes a decent return a month. All right, scroll down. So let's just say Pips 2. Connect to Pips 2, and then rather give him 20% of the funds that you'll be handling. 20% of the funds that you have, so that you're not taking such a big risk on your whole profile, but you know that when he makes money, he's gonna make you a larger percentage of growth. So you can look at all the traders that way. Remember to keep in mind the maximum drawdown. Remember to keep in mind the maximum drawdown, because you don't want somebody who's going to lose all your funds. And then after that, look at your average monthly growth, or you can just look how long this person has been growing their account, how they're performing. Again, like I said, that the system gives you full transparency as to what is going on. You can look at the trades that they've been making, and after seeing their profile, then connecting the specific trader by clicking to add to portfolio. So you see, look at the trader, look at probably his annual forecast, look at how he's been working, look at his maximum drawdown, look at his best or worst losing trade. So already here we can see that this guy has made more money on one trade than he's ever lost money on one trade, which is a good sign. And then that's how you start building your portfolio. So you can choose how many traders you want. So the one that I gave you, the one that I just explained, you don't have to have 3 traders that way. You can have 10 traders and give them all 10%. You can have 20 traders and give them all 5%. You can just play around it like that, or you can even have 3 traders and give them all 100%, although that is not advisable, because it will give you a message like this, that the portfolio is running on a medium or a high risk, although then it will still do. And then on the portfolio, it will show you who you have chosen to manage your account, and it will also give you statements as to, okay, this guy, he's made 9% growth for this portfolio versus bulls and bear, he has lost 2.22. So it will give you the entire information. And remember, going back to the pips, like I said, that you don't necessarily need to stress about the pips, because this guy over here is on negative pips. This portfolio is on negative pips, but there is still growth on this portfolio. So that's the CopyTrade system. And you may contact me here at Globex360 if you need any assistance with this. This has been Dumelo Mngomezulu with the CopyTrade. And yeah, any assistance that you need, you can just contact me.